The International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin remains a headache for Pretoria just months before he arrives in the country for the BRICS Summit. President Cyril Ramphosa has appointed an Inter-Ministerial Committee that is chaired by Deputy President Mashatile to consider the various options.
The Federation of the Russian Republic is not a signatory to the ICC, and there are rules that the ICC must then comply to when the issue warrants it relates to people who are not signatories of that. And so when you're saying there are no options, it's not accurate. Why the IMC is in place, the IMC is in place to consider the options that are in place, including the legal opinions that we have heard and the route. And the IMC will go to Cabinet and make recommendations. Cabinet will take the decisions and will announce and communicate the decisions of Cabinet so that we are clear on that one.
The government has made it clear that while it remains a signatory of the Rome Statute, it wants to avoid a repeat of the 2015 alBashir incident, which saw the ICC making a finding that South Africa had failed in its duty to arrest the former Sudanese president when he was in the country.
Of course, that incident was embarrassing to the country, and when you have a guest, you don't want to be running around courts and doing all other things. So we will not have a repeat of that incident, and that's why the IMC is considering the options so that we maintain the dignity of our guest. If President Putin comes to South Africa, he will be coming at the invitation of President Ramaphosa, and we have a responsibility to make sure the guests are treated properly, and we will not want, I think that incident provided lessons for the country, and we must make sure that we avoid a repeat of such an embarrassment.
In a briefing on the cabinet outcomes, Minister Ntshavheni disputed assertions that the country has met a dead end in its options related to Putin's arrest. She says Russia is not a signatory of the Rome Statute. The country reportedly never ratified the agreement to become a member. Meanwhile, an envoy has been sent to the US for talks with the Biden administration around South Africa and its stance on diplomatic issues and the war in Ukraine. The South African government says that its non-aligned stance forms the foundation of its position of resolving conflicts or differences across the globe peacefully.
We can't nudge Russia alone. We must also nudge the other protagonists in the conflict, who the US as the leader of NATO are the major protagonists on that part. So we've sent an envoy to engage on how do we find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. And it's not because we're afraid of being removed from AGOA. It's because we have a responsibility to ensure that there is peaceful resolutions of conflict.
The minister in the presidency has also dismissed a statement by the Western Cape government that says if Putin sets foot in the province, they will arrest him. Ntshavheni says the Western Cape is not a federal government. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.